Alright, well, I have successfully come up with another project. I was looking around on Craigslist last night. I actually found these at about 2 in the morning, 4 hours after he posted them. There were two 1977 Pinto mopeds. They're JcPenney Pintos. Said he's had them both running in the past. I guess he had to manually move the carburetor because the throttle cable's probably stuck. Haven't run in a couple years, and neither have titles, which is pretty common for mopeds not to have them, especially the older they get, people lose them. But I've never seen a Pinto this cheap. So I went and bought them. I have both of them. Now, I really like the yellow one, actually. Normally I would not like the color yellow, but this thing is pretty nice. Hopefully we can see something. 563 miles. Okay. She's still a baby. I don't even think that's all the way broken in. I think it's 700 on break-in. I could be wrong when dealing with smaller 2 cycles. And then this one has 804. So we know which one was the favorite. This is one of my favorite parts right here. Do not use unleaded gasoline. So I might have to find a fuel additive. It actually has a oil mixing cup on the bottom of the gas cap. I thought that was handy. It's not really rusty in here as much as this is just old gas that has just turned. So if I scratch at it a little bit, yeah, it just smells like old scaly gas. That's not rust at all. So I'll have to get some premium in there, let it kind of sit, and kind of reach down in there with like a paint stick and try to scrape some of that loose. But the chrome tops should clean up decent. I mean, they're a little bubbled, but not too bad. This one has its carburetor. That one's missing the carburetor and intake manifold. The throttle's stuck on this one, but the brakes work. The clutch actually does work. The starter clutch. So what we're gonna do right now is I'm gonna set the yellow one on some cardboard and we're gonna start oiling things. I bought some Marvel Mystery Oil, some PB Blaster, and we're just gonna start hosing this thing down and seeing what's good and what isn't. Here's another slightly better look at the yellow Pinto JcPenney. It has a Pook style engine and carburetor setup. The exhaust also does look familiar. I've worked on some Pooks in the past. You've got the pull choke, which appears to be stuck. You have something here. What is that? Throttle's completely seized. I guess let's get the spark plug out and get something down in this cylinder. There we go. Please don't let this be stuck in this casting. Oh. Let's see how bad this looks. It's got a Bosch in it. That looks really bad. So that's no good. So this is where I'm going to take some Marvel Mystery Oil, or as some people call it, the magic sauce. I do not know if this engine's stuck, but as many years as it's been sitting, he says it's been at least 5 since he's had it running. I'm not going to take any chances of that cylinder being dry. So we are going to get some Marvel in there well before I ever try to borrow this engine or push it, kick it, anything. This one actually does have the airbox. That is impressive. That does not appear to be coming loose. I'm going to say the throttle barrel is seized in the carb. That's not good. Get some penetrating fluid down in there. Maybe replacing this carb. Come on, baby. Come on. Choke's moving. Throttle cable does not move at all. Well, this is disappointing. Last thing I want to do is start wrenching on a vintage carburetor, messing something up. So. Carb cleaner. Sometimes maybe it's bad fuel. Dunking them up. A lot of brown coming out of there. What can brown do for you? And yes, I did just say that. Oh, there we go. There's the problem. There was some fibers that had come off the throttle cable and gotten jammed in between the barrel and the wall of the carburetor. Alright. That has now come off. Got the two washers, set them down here. For this one, I'm going to use PV Blaster, which they came out with a new cap, which I have never seen before. So, even has like a plus minus thing on it, I guess for more or less oil. So let's give this a shot. See how this works. Put it on maximum, I guess. Okay, let's try medium. Whoa, I like that. It's already trying to move. Let's just go ahead and go down the length of the chain. I know for a fact this thing is just stiff as a board. Come on, baby. Actually, big pieces of rust falling off this chain. It wants to live. I'm going to replace it, but I mean, for testing purposes, I would very much like it to move. That other chain on the other side ain't doing so hot. I'm gonna get this pedal all lubed up. Right off the bat, I already see a problem. This right here. Meaning all this has come undone for the tensioner, which sucks. I really hate putting those back together. I guess let's see if I can get this loosened up. And then I will try to reassemble that later. Yeah. I'm going to turn this down just a little lower. I love that. So it doesn't just blast everything. You can actually have some control over it. Neat. Okay. Let's see, can we get it moving a little better? Okay, now, does this thing even have any transmission fluid in it? Nope, actually, that wasn't stuck either. but there's a lot of dirt around it. Take some carb spray. Do a hose clean on that. See what we're working with. I'm not seeing any fluid. Oh, there is something in there, and it's still red. I will change that. It's not milkshakey, so it doesn't lead me to believe that there's rainwater or anything in it. Alright. I guess let's see if the motor actually spins. Alright, on this model you have to pedal it, and while you're pedaling it, you would pull this lever right here, which engages the starter clutch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit this right here. I'm going to try to spin it and hit that starter clutch. Place your bets. Is it stuck? Whoa! That most certainly was not stuck. It's gonna smoke like all get out now that all that penetrating fluid's in the pipe. But that is covered in oil. Let's see, will this engine fire? I'm just going to take the spark plug, spray some carb cleaner on it, take some sandpaper, clean the terminals, double it over, clean the snot out of that. Have that lead in there. I'm just going to screw it in hand tight. I'm not even going to torque it down. Okay. The plan is I'm going to do exactly what I just did. I'm going to spray carb cleaner in the intake. There's already a ton of oil in that cylinder, so I'm not too worried about one quick startup. Didn't sound like a running engine to me. Come on, maybe. Nope. That plug may be done. Let's pull that plug out. It looks pretty roasted. Moment of truth. No fire. Alright. What I'm going to try to do now is I'm going to try to get the flywheel cover off. And I'm going to take a look at the points. Because there is no power reaching the spark plug. I mean, it could just be a bad coil, but I think we have a dirty set of points, or improperly gapped, or the condenser's bad. No big deal. Try to spray some oil. I know this isn't the best for the components underneath, but I mean, it's vented anyway, so it's probably full of farm dirt. Oh, it's just a little bit of farm dirt. Okay. Does look like some moisture may have gotten in here at one point, but not too much. That's pretty clean. And I can see the points in there. Wow. I can see them opening and closing, but not getting anything out of it. That looks pretty crusty in there. So I'm going to get some sandpaper. I'm going to put it in between the contacts in there and try to clean the points and see if that helps at all. Alright. Connect. Impact. You know what? I'd hate to damage anything. So. Wow. This thing really was kept in that barn all those years. Because normally, that would have fought me. Now, if I pull on it, you know what, let's get my puller out. Well, I actually resorted to the big guns. I got the steering wheel puller out. So now all I need to do is turn this, and hopefully it'll break free. Okay, cross your fingers. Oh, actually bit me. But it came off, so that's good. Doesn't look dirty or anything. So, set that aside. I'm thinking the condenser is bad, because the gap on the points looked okay, and I cleaned the contact. I'm sure the coils are probably still fine. The lacquer on the wire still looks okay. It doesn't look like they've ever gotten too hot. I'm just going to blow this out with air, and I'm going to go online and see if I can't find another condenser. In the meantime, I think I'm going to pull it out of the red one, since the engine is locked up on that one. So that is unfortunately a parts bike at this point. Alright guys, that's it for now. I was able to get spark back, as you can see. What I did was I just cannibalized the stator setup from the red moped with the locked up engine. So, I mean, the motor was no good anyway. The problem is the condenser is bad, and I've noticed that these are actually pressed in, so I will have to get another one of these. I also have new tires coming, and new carburetor coming, and a new throttle cable, because the throttle cable was stuck. The needle on this one, the conical valve, is actually swollen up, and you can't get fuel into this carburetor. I will get a rebuild kit, since this is the original factory Bing carburetor. I will rebuild this and hang on to it. Mainly if I ever get the red one put back together. It's going to need a crank and a new top end, because it has had some water intrusion. So anybody out there in the moped community, if you have a crank that will go into that, please let me know, and hopefully I can afford it. Anyway, stay tuned for the next installment of this project. I'll be putting the throttle cable, the carburetor, and the tires on it, and hopefully it will light. If not, we'll just have to dig into it even further. But let me know what you think of the JcPenney Pinto mopeds I picked up. I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.